Tennessee Life is supported through the financial support of viewers like you. Thank you. Coming up on this edition of Tennessee Life, we step up to the plate with Old Hickory Bat Company, a renowned Middle Tennessee shop that has earned its reputation amongst little leaguers and pros for their high-quality baseball bats.
You can be on a field another field over and hear an Old Hickory Bat from that field just because of the kind of sound it has off of it. And that's one of those things that sends chills down your spine whenever you hear a good ball that comes off a bat.
Nothing beats a day at the ballpark, so grab your glove and get to Johnson City for a Doughboys game, where the team behind the scenes wants to keep you coming back inning after inning.
Every once in a while you have a couple players that you're able to kind of sell as, hey, come see these guys, but for the most part it's, hey, come have a good time. The Doughboys are going to be playing. It's going to be good baseball and you're going to have fun at the ballpark.
Plus, we dust off that old shoebox of baseball cards and head to Underdog Sports, where a community of collectors has found a place to share their love of cards and chase the rush of pulling the perfect pack.
I want people to come out on Saturday, have a great 30 minutes here, have whatever it is. Have a great time coming here, buying that box and going home and ripping it on their YouTube channel.
Those stories next on Tennessee Life.
Hi, I'm Vickie Lawson. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Tennessee Life. From Little League players to Major League All-Stars, Old Hickory Bats equips them all. The company started with a belt sander in an old garage and has since grown into an international business.
What gives me a sense of pride is when I'm out and a young kid from a tournament comes up and tells me how much he enjoys our bat that we made for him. And that's probably some of the most excitement that I get is selling bats to those kids. They go out and use them that day, and after the game they come back and tell me they hit 2 doubles with it. And seeing people come in and see how amazed they are of what we're able to do with bats nowadays, and just they understand that they're hand quality and handcrafted and actually hand painted, right? And we are just a very blue collar. There's about 15 of us here, so it's just the nitty-gritty boys in here getting it done, and then it's nice to go out and see kind of the fruits of your labor. I'm Ryan Mortensen. I'm the Director of Media and Operations here at Old Hickory. We're here in the factory checking out how we make our bats. We are in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. We were founded by a guy named Chad Lamberth and John Moyer. We're actually here on Chad's family's land. So his parents live actually the door over. He started sanding bats right there in their garage. Back in 1999, John Moyer and Chad came together with the idea for Old Hickory Bat Company. They went to Chad's mom and asked for a little bit of land, and they built the initial factory, and then about 5 years later, we're standing here in this big building here. So over the course of 24 years, the company's grown sizably. I'm born and raised here in Hendersonville, Tennessee as well. I went to Beach High School. From there, I knew about Old Hickory and everything, so I knew that it was an interest. I knew that they had a lot of big MLB guys. Didn't really know the scale that they had taken it to. My junior year of college, I was looking for a summer job, so I reached out to a couple of the guys that I knew, said they had a production opening for me, so I came here, I worked production for a summer, and then went back to school to finish up my career, and then when I came back, they offered me another job doing the media and doing kind of the operations and kind of more of the creative side of things. So I took that challenge on, and now here we are a year later. So. Good wood for baseball bats would be maple and birch type of wood. It's going to be great. The density on it is great to make a swingable piece of wood. So a lot of people ask about our name, Old Hickory, and if we actually make hickory bats. So hickory is going to be a heavier, denser piece of wood. It's not going to be the best to create a baseball bat out of because of the swing weight through. So maple is a type of wood that's already really hard, really durable, and is good to be used to make a baseball bat. Same thing with birch. Birch is a little bit less forgiving, but as you continue to use it, it gets as hard as maple. So that's why birch and maple are going to be the main 2 types of wood that you see. All of the wood that we use is grown up in Pennsylvania and New York. There the trees are chopped down, they're turned into billets. Billet is just a 3-inch diameter, 36-inch long round cylinder piece of wood. From there they're sent to our wood mill in Missouri where they're treated for and dried in the kiln, so they'll be dried out, taking all the moisture out. From there they're shipped to our factory here in Goodlettsville. And then from there, from the billet, it usually takes about 3 to 5 days to make a finished product. So So the bat will be taken in by our cutters based off the weights and ounces that they need. They have certain pieces of wood that they can use. Then from there, they'll cut the bat out, get the original shape of it, and then from there, it'll be run through a machine that has 2 sanding belts to take the top layers off. Then once the sanders, they get done sanding the bat, they take it over to our paint booth where they'll start painting the bat. They'll paint them, they'll let them dry overnight, and then from there, our logo guy, Terrence, will come get the bats. He'll throw all the logos on them. He'll throw them back in the paint booth for our guy, JT. He'll put the final spray, the clear lacquer on it. It'll spray, it'll harden, it'll dry overnight. Our engraver will come get the bats. He'll engrave the length, the model, specific names and stuff that need to be engraved on it, and then from there they're filled in by hand, wiped off, and then from there they go and they get cupped, and then after the cupping process they get bagged up and they get shipped out the back door. All these bats will be able to be used across any league in America, so a good piece of wood will be good in any league. We follow all MLB requirements for all of our bats, so all of our bats from our Drop 5 series all the way to our pro guys all include the ink dot. The ink dot is an MLB requirement. It's just a dot of ink that shows the invisible grain, the tangential grain, and that shows how straight of a piece of wood it is. So all of our bats will fall within that specific MLB requirement, and that just ensures that it's a good piece of wood. If you have a wood that falls outside of those slopes of grains, when a bat breaks, it can tend to splinter and shatter, and it might fly off in a bunch of million pieces and hurt somebody. With a good piece of wood, it'll just split into 2 even pieces. The margin of error shortens up drastically when it's a good piece of wood. So instead of having a bat break and splinter and everything, it'll just be a nice, clean break, and try to keep everyone as safe as possible. And we take good pride in the quality of wood that we have. We send the same quality pro maple wood to little guys that we do all the way up to Mike Trout. But then from there, when it gets more in depth, guys are more worried about how balanced the bat feels or how end heavy the bat feels. So from there, it just goes into the specific dimensions and weights of the bat. So one guy might like a bat that's more end heavy, so his bat will have a little bit bigger barrel on it, maybe a little bit thinner handle, versus someone who likes a bat that's more balanced, and it'll be kind of more even all the way through, kind of the same thicker knob with same standard size barrel. So really from there, it gets all into the player preferences of how they personally like their bats. For big league guys, they can't get too creative with it. They have to stick with the blacks, the browns, the grays, and stuff like that. But as far as the amateur level goes, they can put splatter, whatever color they want on it. We can fade it, we can put as many different colors on it as they want. And now with the younger generation coming up, we're seeing a lot of kids wanting those pinks and those blues and those greens and kind of the more brighter, poppier colors. And that's kind of one way we've taken the direction to get interest from our younger market. I think for me, being outside of playing, I think it's kind of opened up a whole new realm of things. Now with our custom bat line and stuff like that, I do a lot of those, so it kind of gives you the freedom, and Chad and these guys, they give us all the freedom that we need to create and do what we need. So they don't really harp on us a whole lot, and we're able to kind of work how we want and figure out what works best for us. You can be on a field another field over and hear an Old Hickory Bat from that field just because of the kind of sound it has off of it. So we take a lot of pride in the quality and kind of the quality of wood and quality of work and process that we do, and that's one of those things that sends chills down your spine whenever you hear a good ball that comes off of that.
Later on Tennessee Life, we'll break into the world of card collecting and trading with Underdog Collectibles.
A lot changed. When I was growing up, you went every month, you got the Beckett, and you looked up the price of the card. Now everything's electronically driven. You go and look on eBay or different sites, and you see what the last 4 or 5 cards have sold for.
But first, we head to Johnson City, where the energy of the Appalachian League fills the summer air.
Nothing beats a day at the ballpark, and the crew behind the scenes with the Johnson City Doughboys take pride knowing they can give back to the community that supports them through thick and thin.
we don't have much control over what happens on the field. Hopefully we bring a Doughboys win, but as long as they're saying, hey, I had a great time, my kids want to come back, I want to come back, I want to see another ball game, that's exactly what we're going for. And the fan experience is something that we really harp on. And you know, it's baseball, it's supposed to be fun. So that's something we try to bring not just to the field of play, but up onto the seats as well. And you know, if you can go down, get in a mid-inning game or something, have even a little bit more fun, it makes you want to keep coming back.
Hey, where's my... And let me tell you,
I'm Preston Baker. I'm the Director of Media Relations and Broadcaster for the Johnson City Doughboys. We're here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark in Johnson City, Tennessee. Baseball in Johnson City has been around for over 90 years now. For a long time, it was the Johnson City Cardinals in the Appalachian League, and then once COVID hit, there was a little bit of restructuring in minor league baseball and low-level baseball, and the Doughboys ended up changing from the Cardinals to the Doughboys, and we went from being what was a feeder team, a real low-level feeder team for the St. Louis Cardinals, now into a college summer league team. So we bring guys from all around the country, and they come in here, play in the summer, and try to get better to then go back to school and be even better once they get back to school. So the Appalachian League, it's a 10-team league spanning across 4 states. We're here in Tennessee, North Carolina, West Virginia, and Virginia. We're partnered with Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is very generous in what they do for us and give us all the equipment for broadcasting, for stats, for analytics to really make this one of the top college summer leagues in the country. It's for younger collegiate players, and the whole goal for them is to be able to play against guys that are maybe a little bit better than who they see normally in the spring and in the fall at college. And so they're able to develop themselves and work on real specific things. And it's supposed to be like a pro ball schedule. We play 6 days a week, and we play 48 games in a span of about 58 days.
So I played in the Appy League last year as a pickup guy. I love it. It's quite a different experience. Even being just from 30 minutes away, it's a lot different atmosphere than Greenville. People come out and support, and big crowds, and it just seems like a different environment, a very young crowd, and it's really exciting. Everybody, the fans are always into it, and they make it worthwhile to come out here and play every day. My goals are to take this as far as I can. I'm hopefully making a name for myself one day, starting in this Appy League. I'd like to get drafted one day eventually after school's over, and I'd like to make a name for myself in baseball.
The baseball here is one of the most competitive things about it. These guys are coming in, and a lot of them are high-name Power 5 guys. We have Tennessee guys, we have Ole Miss guys, we have a lot of guys from the SEC even on the team here this year. And these guys come in, and this is usually the most scouts they're going to play in front of. Should it be Major League scouts? Should they be in the transfer portal looking for a new place to go to college? There's always scouts out at these games, and these guys know it, and they get their, numbers like their stats, their analytics, just like they are Major League players, and like they're trying to work their way up. And so there's been a lot of guys that have played in this league and have been able to transfer or even get drafted even higher in the MLB draft because of what they did and how they played in this league. And these guys take it like it's as close to pro ball as it is. That's why, it's college guys, but it's a pro atmosphere here. It really is. Nobody's touching that one. The wind up and the 1-1 from Justin.
Okay, so take in number 8, Knox.
Our crew, our intern crew, is really what makes this whole thing turn. If it wasn't for everybody working, those are the people, all of us show up at 10 a.m. for a 7 p.m. ball game. So that's what makes this whole ballpark go. And I'm just a little tiny part of that. I feel like I get most of the attention because I'm the one that's doing the broadcast and talking, but in reality, it's all these other people that do the majority of the work. And we got a couple of guys, we got Clay, we got Austin, that do all the ballpark ops, make sure everything's clean, make sure everything looks good for when people come to the ballpark. Want to make sure there's no peanuts down by your feet when you show up to a ball game. So we got a couple of guys that do that, and they make sure all the food's stocked. We sell a lot of beer here, so make sure all the kegs are in and turned up, and make sure everyone can have a good time.
Hi, my name is Austin Lloyd, and I am the official food and beverage guy for the Johnson City Doughboys. Patrick, the GM, said, "You're going to be the food and bev guy." I was like, okay. I've never done it, but I have worked in the food industry before, so I was like, okay, I know somewhat of what I'm doing. Little did I know. Good mentor of mine, Chris Franklin, the official food and bev guy for the Tennessee Smokies, he says you don't want to be reactive, you want to be proactive. And so just thinking ahead constantly of what you need for the next day. And like I said, we have a 5-game home stretch this week. So that's kind of what drew me in something like this that makes the day go by fast. And also, at the end of the day, you get to sing the joy of the fans coming to watch our Doughboys. There's nothing better. You know, this is why you do it.
Everybody kind of has to help out on everything. That's what you get in this level, is we're all kind of, utility men is what you'd call it out on the baseball field, and we're all kind of trying to do a little bit of everything. And just because I'm the broadcaster, trash has to go out and I'm the one here, that doesn't mean I can just be like, oh, I'm the broadcaster, I don't have to take the trash out. No, that's still on me out there. So it's fun to see everybody doing their job that they're here for, but then also being able to help out with everyone else and really making everyone else's life a whole lot easier, because it's not easy to run a baseball team. It is not easy to get things moving here. That's something that we really take pride in, is making sure that the fan experience is top tier and making sure that everyone's coming out. And obviously you're coming for the baseball, but a lot of times we kind of sell it as you're coming to have a good time, and we're also going to play baseball at it too. And we drew the 2 biggest crowds in the history of this ballpark last week. The community of Johnson City is just super inviting, super warming, and it really does help that East Tennessee State is in town, Milligan's right on by, and we have a really good baseball history in this region. And there's a lot of guys that'll come from local high schools. We have a couple of guys from high schools in this area that play for the Doughboys, and so every once in a while you have a couple players that you're able to kind of sell as, hey, come see these guys, but for the most part it's, hey, come have a good time. The Doughboys are going to be playing. It's going to be good baseball, and you're going to have fun at the ballpark.
Underdog Collectibles in Knoxville is a haven for baseball card fans. From vintage cards to modern day rarities, we'll learn about the art of collecting, trading, and the stories these cards hold.
Oh my goodness. Very nice. That's the hot box right there.
When you have the father-son combo enjoying having a great time, celebrating pulling their favorite player, whether it's a nickel card or whether it's a $1,000 card, just getting to see people enjoy the whole experience of collecting day in and day out is by far what's the best part of it. I want people to come out on Saturday, have a great 30 minutes here, have whatever it is. Have a great time coming here, buying that box, and going home and ripping it on their YouTube channel. I'm Matthew Cook. I'm owner of Underdog Collectibles here in Knoxville, Tennessee. The card that is stuck in my mind is the card that got my attention, that made me an addict. It was the '87 Donruss Mark McGwire. My first year watching baseball was '87. That was the year he set the rookie record for home runs. I fell in love with McGwire. I had that and kept it with me with pride. Then one day I accidentally damaged it, and I cried like a kid that age would when they destroyed their favorite thing. But the '87 Donruss, Mark McGwire, is definitely the card that stuck me. My parents were not collectors. My parents weren't baseball fans. I quickly grabbed both and ran wild with both, and have been pretty consistent in the sports card market and hobby since then. I started working at a card shop at 13 years old. I worked there for several years, grew older and progressed to real life jobs. I always maintained collecting and oftentimes selling, even being able to do some of the larger regional and national shows. Roughly 2019, along with my business partner, we got this great idea that we needed to start a business back in the card market. And so we started Underdog Collectibles to do online breaks. We did that for a couple years. Both of us had always had a lifelong dream of owning a card shop. So it was like, it's going well enough. Here's our chance. Let's give it a shot.
Proctor.
The landscape for baseball cards today is Topps is the only licensed manufacturer. So all licensed Major League Baseball cards are going to be produced by Topps. All ranges from your base top set that has been pretty similar since 1952 to they make products where you get one card that's already encapsulated, has a piece of game used material and is signed by the athlete and is numbered out of 10 or less. So there is an extremely wide spectrum of cards at this point. The most significant current cards started early 1900s. They were distributed with cigarettes. And at some point, that progressed over to bubble gum. The gum continued even until, when I first started, there was still gum in it. It was most certainly not the best gum, but it came with gum, but that was no longer what any of us were after. In 1980, it started to expand with the addition of Donruss and Fleer. So from 1981 through, I guess, 1988, almost all packs were only 50 cents. I want to say when 1989 Upper Deck came out, it was $3, $4, maybe even $5 a pack at the time, which was absolutely unheard of for something that had always been 50 cents. And it was a more premium stock card. It had a tamper-proof hologram. Then in the late 90s, we started to progress to serial numbering. The 91 Proline football set was the first one I remember that had autographed cards inserted in the packs. They were extremely impossible to come by. You'd be lucky to find one or two of the autographed cards at a local show with 50 vendors. From there, it slowly progressed that autographs became more frequent. Then late 90s, there was the addition of memorabilia that was started to be put in the cards as well. So the manufacturers would take a game-used jersey of the player, cut it into little 1x1 squares and insert it in the card. So now the cards had a piece of memorabilia.
That is a shoelace card, straight cut from his shoe. And I don't know if you can tell,
I want to be higher than
but on the bottom there, it's 1 of 1. So there's only one of these in existence.
I want to be
Very cool.
The quality continues to evolve tremendously, but we are now very focused on the serial number cards, autograph cards, and memorabilia cards.
There's Ricky PSA too? Yeah, so I mean, it's the thrill, the chase. Open up the cards. Who do we get? Do we know anybody that wants it? They do a really good job here of building a community. So when we take boxes, we open them here, we open them at home. We've actually started our own little Instagram page where we open them at home, unboxing. It's a lot of fun, but you know, the community aspect, when we know somebody that collects somebody specific and it's maybe not somebody that we like or we collect, we trade or drop off here and say, hey, leave it for this guy or leave it for so-and-so. So it's taught my son and my daughter both a lot about just, you know, being a good person. See young, you see old here. You've got young kids learning about the hobby, learning about, you know, the financial aspect of it, you know, what they're worth, am I getting the value out of the card? Just a lot of life lessons, I feel like. And the shop here does a good job of educating young collectors and even new collectors. When we got back into it about 6 months ago, a lot changed. You know, when I was growing up, you went every month and got the Beckett and you looked up the price of the card. Now everything's electronically driven. You go and look on eBay or different sites and you see what the last 4 or 5 cards have sold for. So they do a really good job here of educating on, you know how to get the most for your money and different things to chase and stuff like that. So they just do a really good job here. And the community itself, the hobby, does a really good job of including both young and old and incorporating everybody.
You do? That's good, that's good. This is my favorite player, by the way. I'm a Dolphins fan, yeah, that's my guy. So
I primarily only see people that are truly collecting. I I don't have anyone coming through the shop treating it like a slot machine that this is their chance to get rich. If I have people coming in asking for investment advice, my answer is always, you need to collect what you enjoy. If you want to invest, go try the stock market. This is not where I would be investing. It's a hobby, not an investment tool. What I would like to see for the future of the hobby is just a continued growth and expansion, finding people that aren't collectors, introducing them to the fun of it, and keeping with that core that is doing it, that it's something they continue to enjoy.
And that's the ball game, folks. We hope you've enjoyed our look at the Great American Pastime. I'm Vickie Lawson. We'll see you on the next Tennessee Live.